Welcome to my Bivariate presentation, entitled Support for the Political System in Yemen. Yemen is technically a presidential democratic republic, however the country does not appear very democratic in practice. For example, Yemen's judicial system is based on a strict interpretation of the Quran. As well, the country is under one-party rule, has widespread electoral corruption, and the executive branch occasionally violates the independence of the judiciary. Given these conditions, my research will be guided by the following question: what factors influence support for Yemen's political system? I will use the Arab Barometer 2007 dataset, which has a sample size of 1,182 for Yemen. Literature review. Omar Dahi has analyzed the Egyptian and Arab revolts and has determined that the failure of Arab countries to implement economic policies that benefit the average citizen rather than the elite business owners resulted in the Arab Spring uprisings. Therefore, worse economic conditions are likely to result in less support for the political system. Masaki Kakizaki has used the 2001 World Values Survey to examine the effects of religiosity on confidence in the political system of Turkey. Kakizaki's findings suggest that religion has a varying degree of influence across certain political institutions, but overall, religiosity is not important in determining confidence in the political system. My research will build on these findings by examining two similar independent variables and one new independent variable. Firstly, I hypothesize that better family economic conditions will result in higher support for the political system. My rationale is that respondents whose families are living under better conditions will most likely credit the government and other political actors with these conditions and therefore will have higher support for the political system. Secondly, I hypothesize that the more religious a respondent is, the more support they will have for the political system. In order to measure religiosity, I used the indicator that asks how frequently a respondent reads the Quran. My rationale is that most Yemeni citizens adhere to Islam just as the judicial, legislative, and executive branches do. Therefore, more religiosity should result in more support for the political system. And lastly, I hypothesize that the safer a respondent feels their local area is, the more support they will have for the political system. My rationale is that respondents will likely credit the government for creating and implementing public safety laws that have made local communities safer, and therefore will have higher support for the political system. The analytic approach that I undertook involved recoding indicators in the same direction along a 0 to 1 scale and performing a reliability analysis on those indicators. I then cross-tabulated my index with the three independent variables and used the Kendall's tau-c measurement to determine the strength and direction of association because the tables were rectangular. I determined statistical significance using ANOVA and chi-square. The indicators that I chose to form my index measured trust in the Prime Minister, the courts, Parliament, and political parties, as well as how a respondent would rate the current political situation and the government's handling of the economy. The Cronbach's alpha score of 0.7923 is well over the 0.6 threshold, and therefore the indicators form a reliable index. The mean of the index is 1.656, which indicates that the average respondent has moderate to low support for the political system. However, the standard deviation of 1.058 on a scale of 0 to 3.96 indicates that the scores were more widely distributed than a normal distribution. From the cross-tabulation of support for the political system by family economic condition, I see a moderate positive relationship according to the column percentages across each row and the tau-c value of 0.23442. According to the chi-square test, the probability level is 0.00000, which indicates that my results are very likely not due to sampling error and therefore highly statistically significant. This is confirmed by the ANOVA results, which determined a probability level of 0.0000. From the cross-tabulation of support for the political system by religiosity, I see a very weak positive relationship according to the column percentages and the tau-c value of 0.10188. The chi-square test probability level of 0.03567 and ANOVA's probability level of 0.0004 allow me to conclude that my results are unlikely due to chance and are statistically significant. From my final cross-tabulation of support for the political system by local safety, I find a moderately strong positive relationship according to the column percentages and the tau-c value of 0.25408. From the chi-square test probability level of 0.00000 and the ANOVA probability level, I can again conclude that my findings are very likely not due to sampling error and therefore are statistically significant. In summary, all three of my hypotheses were proven correct. My findings suggest that respondents whose families live in better economic conditions are likely to credit political actors for their economic conditions and provide greater support for the political system. This supports Omar Dahi's conclusion that worse economic conditions result in less support for the political system. Additionally, my research suggests that the more religious a respondent is, the more support they will have for Yemen's Islamic political system. However, the weak association supports Kakazaki's findings that religion is an unimportant factor in determining support for the political system. Finally, my research finds that support for the political system increases as local safety increases. This suggests that respondents credit the government and other political actors for successfully maintaining public safety in local areas. Further research should expand on my findings and could consider the effects of specific income levels on support for the political system, the effects of other aspects of religiosity on support for the political system, such as how frequently one prays, and the effects of local safety levels on support for Yemeni police forces. Thank you for watching my presentation.